There you go, Eve.
Hiya,
We
you all
can,
right?
super, we can hear and see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming on to this pop-up event at UpViral. We're super excited to have you. And I've been speaking with you, so I'm a bit, I don't want to spoil it, but I already know what it is that we're going to be talking about, and it's some really good stuff. But as mentioned, I'm not going to spoil it. So Eve is going to share everything with us today, like the strategy, what they've been doing with competitions to get it all to work. But with that being said, Eve, do you want to start maybe by giving us first like a bit of an overview about your business, what it is that you do at Tickets for Good, and your company mission? Because I think that's amazing.
Yeah, sure. So we're a ticketing company. We're based in the north of England in Sheffield. And effectively how the company works is we're given spare live events tickets, so tickets that haven't been sold yet from our live event partners. So that could be the promoter, the artists themselves, the venues, and these tickets are given to us, and we then give them to NHS staff, and we're just about to venture into charities as well. And they get these tickets in exchange for a £3.50 booking fee, which basically allows us to continue to source the tickets.
Okay, excellent. And so how much would these tickets, if someone would go, an NHS worker is not going through Tickets for Good, but they actually go to the ticketing store and they want to buy a ticket to one of these events, like how much would a ticket cost from the events that you promote?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. We've had everything from kind of theatre shows that could cost £50-60 up to kind of festivals that can be up to £200 a ticket. So I think last time we looked, our savings on average for the NHS as a whole was at about £2 million, I think. So we've managed to save them a lot of money on the face value of events tickets. Yeah.
And they just pay basically a fee of £3.50 to be able to get their hands on the ticket.
Yeah.
Super. Excellent. And so can you tell us more about what made you use UpViral for Tickets for Good?
Yeah, sure. So I think for me, what it was is a lot of the really big events that we get on, we unfortunately aren't able to talk about publicly. There's often a lot of hoops to jump through with these big events, which means that it can be quite difficult to share the good work we're doing. So for me, using UpViral was a way to kind of build the kind of virality element into our what we call internal marketing. So we can talk about all our events internally. That means we can share them with our members, just not publicly. So it was just a way to try and get as much as we can out of that, really.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. So then you use basically UpViral, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you have NHS workers sign up for Tickets for Good, and then you use UpViral to do a competition amongst NHS workers who have signed up for Tickets for Good, and you get them to refer others, right?
Exactly that, yeah.
That's really smart, because you have some like restrictions in terms of you cannot just start running ads, and get a lot of people sign up to your competition and to the events, because there is some private things that you plan with these event companies. But that is a good alternative to be able to still like create a buzz in the world amongst NHS workers. So I think that's really smart.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And what was your end goal from using UpViral? What was your main thing that you were trying to achieve?
So our kind of main goal with UpViral was customer acquisition, gaining new customers, preferably for kind of as low a cost as possible. So yeah, we did quite well with that. So it's been good.
Okay, super. Yeah, we'll dive into the results in a bit. But before you used UpViral for customer acquisition, did you do leverage any other strategy? And did it work or not?
Sorry. Yeah, so we also use kind of social media ads, mainly through Facebook, also for Snapchat, because we also work with healthcare students. So that tends to fit quite well with the Snapchat demographic. We also use what we call trust outreach. So this is, we'll have a couple of members of the team that will write emails to send out to the NHS trusts. They then have kind of intranets and internal mailers that they send out. So that's quite effective as well, but it can be quite time consuming, and it's not that consistent because it depends on how busy the trusts are, that sort of thing. We also use social media where we can, for the events that we can share publicly. But to be honest, I think aside from all of that, word of mouth is our most kind of most common way that people find out about us. So just encouraging that word of mouth as much as possible in all of our emails and social media, that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. So all basically NHS workers who at their workplace probably talk about Tickets for Good and they recommend it to their colleagues while they're at work. All right.
Yeah.
Super. Now, talking about the competition. So I know you've done multiple of these competitions, and that is the strategy that you're going to be sharing with us. But let's talk about one specific one that you have recently run, and we'll share the images in a bit. But can you tell us this competition that you organize, for how many days or how many weeks do you run the competition?
Usually they run for 2 weeks, so I believe this one was 2 weeks.
Okay, so you run them for 14 days, 2 weeks. And yeah, do you want to tell us about the results from this competition?
Yeah, sure. So from this competition, we ended up with over 1,200 new signups to our platform. And I think I worked out that was about 53% of people who signed up through UpViral converted to our site, which is really good. And then that worked out at about 9p per sign up, which is a very good kind of cost per acquisition. And we also ended up, because we have a private Facebook group just for our members, we ended up with nearly 900 new members as well over that 2-week period.
Okay, so 900 new members in the Facebook group, saying 1,200 signups to the UpViral competition, right?
That to our platform as a result of the UpViral competition. I think the UpViral competition was more like 2,300, something along those lines.
Okay, so 2,300 on the UpViral competition, that resulted in 1,200 new signups on the Tickets for Good website. Now, just to clarify, when people sign up to the Tickets for Good website, do they have to pay, or is that a free sign up?
It's a free sign up. The only payment is for the booking fee for the tickets.
Okay, got it. Still, that's really high, right? Like 1,200 out of 2,300 leads that you got through your UpViral campaign. That's a really high conversion rate from. Let me actually get my calculator here. So that's 1,200 out of 2,300 in total. That's like 52%. 52% of people signing up to your website through the UpViral competition. Great, excellent, great work. And what was the prize that you would give away on the competition?
So the prize for this competition was 35 pairs of tickets that spanned across a few different shows. And also there was an additional £250 cash prize for one winner who was picked at random.
Okay, so £250 cash prize, and you said 35 tickets?
35 pairs of tickets.
Pairs
so
of
70
tickets
altogether, but they were given away in pairs.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I'm going to pull up the landing page so that the people that we have here that are with us live can start to see what the campaign actually looks like. So, and then you can take us through it. Okay. So we have here landing page and share page. Here we go. And I'm just going to share my screen. All right, you should be able to see my screen, right? Yeah. Super. So Eve, do you want to take us through it? So we're now seeing the landing page for an event, Eastern Electronics, right?
Yeah, Eastern Electrics. It's a kind
Eastern
of
Electrics, yeah.
electronic music festival here in the UK.
Okay, all right. And so here we basically, so we see we have a banner. These are, I guess, are these the DJs that are playing at the festival?
Yeah.
The artists? All right, all right. So win access to free NHS tickets to Eastern Electrics 2022. You must be signed up to Tickets for Good for your entry to count. You can sign up on the next page. Then it basically says name and NHS email. All right, that's interesting. Why is that NHS email?
It's mainly so that we can match the entrance to the competition to sign-ups on our site. It just made it a lot easier, really.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so they have to sign up with their work email.
Yeah.
That actually, that's really good, because that way you ensure that you're not getting any fake leads, but that you're only getting leads that are actually NHS workers. So that's really interesting. And then a call to action: enter the competition. So that's all clear. As you can see, not too much copy, and really clear about the price. And then this is the next page that they would see, right, Eve?
Yeah.
So this would be the share page, saying here, invite your NHS colleagues for a better chance of winning. Please note that you must be signed up for Tickets for Good if you aren't already for your entry to count. Gain 5 extra entries for every new colleague who signs up through your referral link below. Share your links as many times as you like, however you like, get creative. Competition closes on Monday, the 11th of July at 12 p.m. So then NHS workers, they would come here, they would click this link, and they would share it with their colleagues. And then we have the social media share buttons. We have share on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We also have joined the Facebook group, and it's through this button that you mentioned you had an additional 900 signups.
Yeah.
Right. And then this is basically the requirement to enter, and that is to sign up through Tickets for Good website. Okay, I see you didn't give any points for this one. Any particular reason?
I think because it was part of the requirements for entering the competition, it didn't really feel necessary to add points onto it. And it also kind of makes it stand out as an essential step.
Okay, okay, all right. And what do you think are the strong points of this campaign that made it work so well?
I think part of it is that it's such a simple campaign. Obviously, the landing page, the previous page, it's literally name, email address. And then here, they kind of have the option as to how interactive they want to get with the competition. So obviously you can just enter and sign up and leave it at that. We did have a lot of people join the Facebook group, I think, because that was the kind of easiest way to add points on. But if people wanted to get more involved and share, they could, but they weren't forced to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. All right. And you mentioned your competition, you run it for 2 weeks, 14 days. So I'm interested to know if someone would come to this page on day one, they enter their name and email address, and then they come here, they share it with a few workers, and they take some actions. But did you do anything else to sort of like keep them engaged throughout the 14-day campaign, to keep sharing, keep taking actions, keep referring colleagues? Is there anything you did there?
Specifically, not particularly, I don't think. But we did, because with the Facebook group, we would share kind of a couple of times a week on there, and there would be a kind of a call to action of, if you've already joined, make sure you gain as many points as you can. We also have kind of a weekly email that goes out, and we'd use similar messaging in there. So anyone who had signed up through the competition and then had followed through to sign up to our website, they will have received all of those messages from us.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. And when the campaign ended, how did you announce the winner?
The winners were announced via email.
Okay, all right. So you basically send out an email, and the winner is with a subject line, and then they would find out inside the email itself.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Cool. Then, so you've collected with this campaign, particularly, you have collected, you mentioned 2,300 new emails who signed up to this competition. And you've done this campaign multiple times already, right? I think you've done it 4 times in total, like using the exact same strategy of the free ticket to the event. And through that, as we saw at the beginning, as I shared, you have collected over 13,000 leads.
Yeah.
What do you do on a regular basis to keep them engaged, to keep your subscribers engaged? Like, what do you do do you run any promotions? Do you have any newsletter? How do you keep your subscribers engaged?
Yeah, so as I think, as I mentioned kind of in the previous question, we do have the kind of weekly emails that go out. So those will share kind of our new events or kind of our most popular events. So that for us is a really kind of valuable tool. We also use our Facebook group. That's kind of more on a day-to-day basis as opposed to kind of the weekly emails. But with those, we get really good engagement. We also find that kind of the NHS workers can talk to each other through that as well, which is great. So I'd say those are kind of the main ways that we kind of keep in touch with our leads, I suppose. Yeah.
All right, super. If anyone else that is watching live has questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we will cover them later. Then talking now about going back to the campaign now, the competition that you run, I would like to know, how did you actually promote the campaign? So how did you start to send traffic? What marketing tactics or strategies did you use?
So for the Eastern Electrics campaign in particular, that was shared via a kind of one-off like email just for that event. It was also put into our weekly mailers. We did social media posts and a collaborator post with the festival on our Instagram, through the Facebook group as well. I think those are the main ones, but the collaborator post on Instagram did really well for that one.
Okay, so I just want to share now here. I have the email that you shared with me prior to this call, so we can share this with the audience as well. So is this the email that you're referring to announce this competition?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the broadcast email that Tickets for Good sent to their entire list. So win access to tickets for Eastern Electrics Festival, 10 years of raving. So they use the same banner as on the landing page, which is actually really interesting. And it makes a good point about like being congruent throughout your campaign. Like, for example, they always say, right, especially like if you advertise online, that whenever you run ads, the creative, the branding, the colors, the look, the feel needs to match to the destination page where you're taking people. And that also applies to email. And here we can see like how you use exactly the same email. It keeps things simple, but also when people get to the next page, they recognize it. So that's a good thing. So are you ready for a special festival competition to see some of the best names in the techno and house scene? All right, so that is the first part of the email. And here I should be able to share with you part 2. One second. All right. Here I have part 2 of the same broadcast email. So what you saw earlier, that was part 1. So the top section with a banner, and then this was the bottom section. And here you're already explaining like how it works, enter the competition, the deadline, and then that you could also like get additional points for entering. So it's good also that you're not just sharing it on the share page, the how it works after they opt in. You basically like already pre-frame them before they go through the campaign, before they sign up. They already know that there is a competition, that they basically can get additional points by taking actions like joining the Facebook group, sharing on social media. So I think that's a really good point as well. Cool. So mainly you leveraged all organic channels, right? You mentioned the Facebook group, email announcement, and then on Instagram you did, what did you call it? Partner posts or?
The collaborator post. So it's when you can have 2 different accounts kind of on a post together. Yeah. So it'll go into both followers' news feeds.
Yeah. All right, excellent. And did you see any specific social media channels that work the best for Tickets for Good or to promote this competition in particular? Was there any social media that really like stand out for you?
For this competition, I don't think there was one that stood out. I would say for because we also ran competitions that the call to action wasn't share on social media. It was to share kind of through either WhatsApp, email, or Messenger. And for those ones, we found WhatsApp worked really well. But in terms of social media platforms, I don't think there were any that particularly stood out more than others.
Yeah, all right. Okay, and here I basically want to share with everyone as well. So we have here this is the post that you were basically referring to.
Yeah.
And where you're basically tagging like multiple Instagram profiles, and then it is visible to the followers from both accounts with a banner and some text to it as well. Excellent. All right, and so what would you say were the main lessons that you learned through this campaign, through the competition?
For me, the main thing I learned was kind of there's always going to be a solution. Because when I first looked at using UpViral, I did have kind of a demo meeting with someone, and because of our restrictions in terms of who can sign up for our platform, and we have to use verification on our email addresses, I wasn't sure if we'd be able to use it. Because the sign-up pages wouldn't necessarily match our sign-up pages. But by bringing in these competitions and almost kind of inverting the way that people would sign up for a competition, it kind of just allowed us to create a solution, and quite a simple solution as well. So yeah, I think marketing's all a bit of trial and error. So it's just trying to find something that works.
Totally. All right. If you could run this competition again, is there anything you would do differently? Anything you would improve?
I think for me, it would probably be to focus a bit more on the middle portion of the competition. I think because it was the first time we'd done anything like this, I was so keen on making sure the functionality was there, which obviously for us was really important because we couldn't have people signing up that weren't verified. If I was to do it again, I think I'd make sure there were kind of a few more engagement pieces in the middle, maybe a couple more emails, that sort of thing. But the start and the end of the competition was kind of as good as it could be, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would also like, now that I've seen like your campaign in much more detail, I would say as well, that's definitely an area, for improvement for next campaigns, because that's always the case. Like we do a campaign, then we look at what went well, what didn't go so well, and then we try to improve it for next time. And in your case, what I would say is the engagement throughout the campaign, throughout those 14 days, like sending a few emails to keep those that have already registered, to keep them engaged, and to motivate them to keep sharing, to keep referring other colleagues. That would definitely like result in more engagement and even more participants in the next competition. So yeah, I think that's definitely good direction to go for. Super. So we have a few questions in the chat. So Dayo is asking, what was the duration of the campaign? So that we covered at the beginning. It was 14 days, 2 weeks, 2 weeks in total. Then we have a question from Gaynor. He's saying, how long have you been using UpViral?
I think we did our first campaign May this year. So about 6 months or so.
About 6 months and 13,000 leads, over 30,000 leads, 13,000 leads, which is awesome. All right, and then we have a question from Gerald. He's saying, what was the opt-in page? So we showed that earlier, but let me share my screen again. So there we go. This is basically the opt-in page that they were using, with a banner at the top: win access to a free NHS tickets to Eastern Electrics 2022, name and email, enter the competition. Right? Simple, but very effective. Okay. And then with that being said, Eve, I want to ask you like a couple of final questions. The first one is, where can people find out more about Tickets for Good?
Yeah, sure. So if you go to ticketsforgood.org, that's our overall, like, our website. And then if you just add /NHS to that, you can see the work we're doing with NHS workers too.
All right. So for everyone that is watching live, I am typing it here in the chat: ticketsforgood.org/NHS. All right. And in a few words, to wrap up the interview, in a few words, what would you say about UpViral?
I think it's a great platform. I think the key things that stand out for me using UpViral is it's very kind of instinctive to use. I didn't really struggle to build the landing pages or anything like that. And also the dashboards with kind of the analytics and the leads and everything are really easy to use again, and kind of give you all the information you need. So yeah, really easy to get started.
Excellent. Super. So from everyone who's watching that is not an UpViral user yet, go to upviral.com/trial, and you will be able to start a 14-day trial for just $1. Okay. With that being said, Eve, I want to thank you so much for being here with us today, for doing this interview. Really kind of you to share it with the UpViral community and inspire our audience to do more competitions and grow their email list using referral marketing. So yeah, anything else you want to add?
Not from me. I think we've covered everything.
Super. So thank you, and everyone who's watching, have a great day ahead. You as well, Eve, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.